Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to DuckTales Remastered. So we got, at the end of the fifth level, the moon, we got all of the artifacts we collected. Now, apparently at some point, way back at the beginning of the game, we had found a map on a painting pointing us to all of these artifacts. I don't even remember that, and it's not like this game has been that long, so yeah. In a modernization of telling this tale, there probably should have been halfway through the level, halfway through the game, some kind of reminder or refresher, or just mention that he was finding out where these artifacts were via a painting. It would have been as easy as before each level, him just referring to the painting again and looking at it, or the painting being on the level selection menu. But we got all those levels, and then we've got like a boss level now, because apparently all those artifacts were used to summon basically Count Dracula in duck form. And we're potentially going to trade our first lucky dime to save Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Now, Weeby is nowhere to be found, and none of the other characters are to be found. So, yeah, these people just show up and disappear pretty obviously. One thing it didn't see. This is almost like a hell level, and I bet they didn't want to call it that. Because of this being like an NES game. So this is gonna suck, because I'm gonna have to do this, and then I'm gonna have to hit that, and that wasn't good enough, so I'm gonna have to walk over here, and then what I need him to do is be right about here, so then I can do that to hit that. And those are characters we had already fought, so we're not getting any new bad guys. We're not really finding a lot of extra things. There's no hint here that there's any kind of collectible or anything, so I think you probably are gonna just have a gauntlet happen here. And we've gotten all the life. Like, right. I'm potentially gonna die just because I've forgotten how to play the game. Interesting, the chains fall down. At least sometimes they do. See, I don't know if it's really worth your effort to try to get the last bit of gold, because there's so much money I would need that, even though I didn't get to spend it previously at the end of the last level, I kind of know that I'm not going to make enough. There you go. So I'm up to 100,000. We'll probably get to 1 million. And that feels like the only way I could have hit that is if I had gotten the bat out of the way first. Which, we haven't had to do that before. So, it's weird, to say the least, this system, because you fall, and then you need to press up, and then you need to basically bounce, because you can't jump from one to the other. Just use our invincibility frames to to get further along. There's a decent chance that we won't make it very far. So this guy was going to help us.
There's got to be a way through now.
Put your back into it, McDuck.
So he didn't help me in any way.
Hurry up, Glumgold. Time is money.
It could be dangerous, McDuck. You go first.
I was saying in the last recording that it felt like there should have been a group of bad guys working together under that guy's who is, I would argue, your probably biggest rival in the cartoon series from what I vaguely recall. Like I certainly am no expert in the original cartoon series, but it would have kept the story a little bit tighter. Although I guess in fairness, if I had remembered that all of these treasures were prompted by the painting, that would have made more sense. Interesting. This is all black and silhouette. It might be valid to consider, like, is this section, this final boss fight, on easy actually incredibly more difficult?
Just not as old as you.
Going as fast as I can. Ow, ow, ow. I didn't get rich by being foolish.
Get rid of that. Let's see if we can find something down here. His invincibility not super useful there. Yeah, I've got like one more hit I can take, or two more hits, and that's about it. But almost certainly the game is going to give me some health upgrade. So I probably lost those two gems. Yep. So the story does kind of exist, but it's so light and unfocused on.
Out of my way, Matara.
A game like this in its original form would also have been particularly difficult to play, because almost certainly you would need some kind of game genie or cheat thing, or a code system, or to select levels and save your progress, because in its in this modern format, even, there's no real way to jump to a menu and confirm that things have really been saved. I imagine things have been saved, but I suspect originally you would have had to play the entire game in one run. And there was definitely, there's just spikes everywhere here. There was definitely a lot of games like that for the NES. Things that, see, we're about halfway through. Okay, so are we gonna get any more boulders, or is it just one boulder? Looks like it's just gonna be one boulder.
Coming through. Up I go.
With everything being in silhouette here, I only watched the gameplay of the original NES DuckTales game through the first level. So I'm wondering, is this perhaps an example of the animation just was not finished? I wouldn't be surprised if that's why this game is not on sale. Is if this entire level was supposed to be visible, but we kind of saw all of these elements already, so there's like all the elements that we've been seeing in darkness, we've also seen in light, so it doesn't feel like it's unfinished.
Where'd you go, you old pillow stuffer? I'm helping like you asked. Quit complaining.
You still have a lot of things, like a lot of different ways you could die. Let's see. And there's plenty of chance here that I'm missing some collectibles. I mean, it could really just be a whole wall up higher. And we've got what looks like probably the only one little secret area. I'm not even sure that we'll find a Mrs. Beakley section. And it might be nice, I suppose, storyline wise, if all the characters show up at the end, good guys and bad guys, or just all the good guys coming to help. Alright, so the rest of this is a minecart section.
Nearly lost my hat on that one.
Notice how when you jump, the cart speeds up, so that
Get a move on, McDuck. Age before beauty, plenty.
So I got more. That time the race was to go in kind of the exact opposite way that it was before. But it's not like you can go backwards. So maybe if you memorized all of the layouts of things or how they walk through or guide. Let's see. I was not expecting to go up yet, but I guess that's the only thing I could do. I thought there was something to the right. The problem is if like Huey, Dewey, and Louie all showed up and they were helping or helped defeat the bad guy, it kind of rewrites all of those characters. Every character except for Scrooge is written as incompetent and inept. I mean, this really is just like Ayn Rand's daydream, where the capitalist of the group is perfect and everyone else is just an incompetent fool, worker to be exploited, or a family member to be exploited. I was not expecting ghosts. Or more, I guess it would be easier to say this was the daydream of Uncle Scrooge himself, that everybody else is incompetent and he's the one that always has to save the day. And the appropriate end to a story like this would be that Uncle Scrooge is actually lying in his deathbed alone with no friends, and he's been hallucinating all of the DuckTales series from the beginning, because it is so unbelievable and so... I don't even know what the right word to say would be. He's basically like a writer replacement, a Mary Sue character. This perfect character, the terribly written character, who is just like the idealized form of perfection. Yep. I wonder why the NES version would have felt the need to have so many characters. Probably just to have some dialogue at all. Like, if you think about Super Mario Bros. 1, there's only like 2 or 3 sentences at the end of each Bowser fight, and that's the entire dialogue of the game.
So, you have decided to deliver Dime after all.
Release my nephews, you evil enchantress.
The nephews are flickering. I think that's probably a visual glitch. Well, they were for a second.
Now let the boys. What? It's been great doing business with you, Scroogey. You too. You've been in cahoots from the beginning.
No, even before beginning. Do you remember who sold your painting in first place? 'Twas me in disguise, you fool.
Why, you... No wonder it was such a bargain.
$5 painting for you saved expensive treasure hunting expedition for me. And now, at long last,
so
I am ready to
they
use
were
treasures
working together. It was just a
well.
twist.
Enough with the smoke and mirrors routine. You've got my dime. Now release the lads.
But the way it's been revealed
no time for
makes it feel like it was a last-minute rewrite instead of, particularly since this is a kids game, that they should have been totally obvious at the beginning of the game that they were working together, or at the very least have a guy in shadow as a mastermind and not reveal who the mastermind is until the end of the game.
And my will is that you destroy this meddling old fool.
So, we're taking on Dracula Duck, and is this...
And guy like man. Breath is worse than his bite.
Okay. That doesn't seem like something I can bounce on. So, I imagine that's just a dodge sequence. And then I just need to get this guy so I can get height enough to hit this. The difficult pogo, I feel like in particular, I wonder what this looked like originally. Like, this is a really big animation. But we have so much health here on easy. I don't know if that was something I was supposed to avoid, or if I could have jumped on his beak. So I'm supposed to just stand in one place. I thought we were going to play Galaga there for a moment. They do kind of have shadows, so you can use the shadows to align yourself. No, plan must not fail. But yeah, on easy. I'm on his beak, and that's a safe spot, but didn't get high enough. I do have, honestly, a little too little health at 1.5. So if this isn't the, if I can't get this, I'll die and then have to start all over. And I think I kind of was at full health when I started, so yeah, I could totally see if this controlling got a little bit more difficult, this would have been a lot more frustrating of a game. Now, are these just randomized? Oh, no. Yeah, it seems like the patterns are pretty randomized. So you probably should just get close to the middle, and that way if you have to move, you know where to go. Not doing well at all.
How dare you?
There is, I think, a very good reason why the Nintendo 3-hit system is kind of traditionally what I like. It's because if you follow the Nintendo 3-hit system, you're not in a big battle like this where it can go on forever, or you can just potentially run into a difficulty spike. Alright. So look at the squares below and try to stay there. It would be nice if we could kind of duck. I would say this probably controls maybe a little bit better if I was playing with the D-pad instead of the analog left stick, but I've been playing with the analog left stick the whole time, so I'm not really in the point where I could switch over. Darn it. So we have like one extra heart now. Took a couple hits to get up there. Darn it. Darn it. So unless I can get this hit in, I'm probably gonna lose, and I'm not sure I'd even win if I got this hit.
Stop meddling. A guy like that. Breath is worse than his bite.
I need a health thing, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna do that. So I lucked out there. And that definitely is a modern animation you wouldn't have seen in the original game.
Oh, boys, I'm so glad you're all right.
I assume this is the end of the game. We're not overlapping the characters' lines of dialogue.
Yeah, the whole
Magic and Glumgold still have my #1 dime, and I'm not leaving without it. You boys get going.
Good luck, Uncle Scrooge.
So he doesn't even really do the right
give
thing
me
there.
dime.
He
Not
leaves
till you
them
give me those
to
treasures.
escape this
I
dangerous
want to be filthy,
cave on their
stinking
own
rich,
You already are filthy,
and potentially get
stinking rich.
lost.
but not as rich as that chiseler McDuck. Where's the treasure?
No more horseplay. I need that dime.
Oh, no, you don't, missy.
Ah, let go, you fool.
Not till I get that treasure.
So I don't know if this is straight up a race or something, and I don't know if we're going to get any kind of collectible. Feels like lava would be filling up the bottom of this. I almost feel like I should die right now, that way I can get a refill of health.
#1 dime is mine.
Okay, so you've got to beat him. That's just how it goes. Come on. Seriously. This might be the point.
#1 dime is mine.
This might be the point where you can't go any further. It's ridiculous that that might be the case, but it does feel like if you aren't just at the top of your game as far as figuring out where you need to go and how you're supposed to jump, and whether it's a pogo jump or whether it's a... There we go, got it.
Nice try, Magica, but I'll be taking my dime with me back to Duckburg. Have a lovely time together.
What would be interesting is looking at the map and seeing where we're supposed to go. And yes, it has decided now it is going to put up lava. This was unnecessary. Unnecessary to just, like, you have to do it. Even the first jump here, and remember, we're on easy. So, jumping from chain to chain has never been something I've been able to do. So we go this way, bounce up here. Unless it's checkpointed me something there. You gotta jump and then press up, then jump and then press up, then climb, then press up, and don't hit even one wrong button, otherwise you're doomed. I suppose I can use some shortcuts here to get higher. Can I make a very far wide jump there? I don't think so. I think you've got to... Yeah, you can get up to that third one, and then that'll help. And if I get up here, then that can get me up there, and then this gets me here to the helicopter.
Out of here, Launchpad.
Launchpad does save the day.
Me #1 diamond returned safe and sound.
That
But
kind
Uncle
of sucked.
Scrooge, well, what about the treasure? Yeah, we had it and we lost it. Sorry, Uncle Scrooge.
Come on now, boys. We may not have got to keep the treasure, but we had the adventure of a lifetime. And best of all, we got to share it together.
So,
You,
6
Abigail,
levels.
Launchpad.
And Duckworth, too. Don't forget about Miss
Like,
Beakley
6 levels would have been...
and Fenton.
They're just mentioning the other characters instead of having them show up.
Indeed
Yep.
they did, lads. Now, come on.
Six
Let's get
episodes,
home.
6 levels of this game would probably been 12 episodes of the DuckTales series, an entire season, if I were to guess.
Oh, pipe
Um,
down, you mangy bird.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this was just based off the entire first season of what happened in DuckTales, and I'm not sure if they got the second or third one. Scrooge remains the richest duck in the world. Gloom Gold captured.
It was real swell of you to give Glomgold a lift home, Mr. McD.
Aye. I'll put it on your bill, Flinty. You can pay me back in, say 3 to 5 years.
There's
With interest, of course.
probably something to be said about kind of a stereotype of the only one who's kind of
There's
recognizably,
a sight I never got tired of. Come on, lads. Let's head to the ice
yeah,
cream shop.
the bad guy is also
Hey,
like
can we
Scottish.
get our own cone this time, Uncle Scrooge?
Oh, why not? I'm in a generous mood today. In fact, each of you can even get a cone with ice cream in it.
Yeah. In 2019, trying to look like Uncle Scrooge is really, really hard. I like DuckTales as a cartoon when it happened, certainly. I thought Disney labeled things with an S, though. Disney's, not Disney. So, yes, this was developed by Way Forward, and it looks like they had a smaller group here. I imagine Way Forward isn't too many people in the first place. 3 programmers with 1 lead programmer. But you really wouldn't have to program much of this too. This is almost certainly 90% code from their Shantae series. They just reskinned it and remade the levels. And they did change the levels to be easier until we got to the final boss level, and then that final section on the boss level was pretty hard. So I do kind of question if we were playing on the hard pogo mode, if that would make the game super difficult, and if we're playing the game on very hard, if that would reduce our life. So I want to check that out. I thought for a brief second there that they might open up a more difficult version of each of the levels. Although since the entire game has difficulty settings, having us have to play through the entire game a second time to actually get to the ending would be very Castlevania-esque, and probably not something that I would enjoy. What we're not seeing here in the credits, at least so far, is anything from Capcom, who is at least on Steam labeled as the publisher. Whereas, honestly, since I think this is copyright 2013, I think it came out then. If they had waited a couple more years, they couldn't have done that, of course, but they could have probably published this themselves. Capcom USA might be the issue here. Like, it is very, very much heard of that a USA branch of a Japanese company might be second fiddle and not really very well respected amongst the Japanese headquarters. So if this was a Capcom USA project, they probably said, sure, you can do it, and then cut the budget extremely. Or just out of spite, removed it from sale. It really doesn't make any sense, though. Like, even from Uncle Scrooge's capitalistic personality and way of looking at life, like, it really makes no sense that this game is not on sale. We've proven that at least on easy, it's playable. You could easily have this still be sold. And it really feels like only spite could be the reason. Either spite from Capcom, or spite from WayForward, or spite from Disney. Somebody amongst those groups of people decided they didn't want DuckTales Remastered for sale. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense even if you are re-releasing a new DuckTales cartoon. There's no reason to remove it from sale. Like, even if the new DuckTales cartoon is completely different, it still doesn't make any sense. So, and unfortunately, that really stinks. I would like to know the reason. Like, a lot of games go off sale. Not a lot, but usually there's a very good reason. It's because they stole art assets, they didn't have the copyright to music, they lost the license to music, which that one's crazy that they don't have a lifetime usage of the music in their games, in their contracts. All of those kind of make sense, though. Or sometimes companies will remove their game from sale on Steam so they can take it to a different storefront or their own personal EA Origin or Uplay services or something like that. But I honestly don't think this is available for purchase anywhere. I will say this game could have used a little more QA in the menu. We do see some visual glitches here and there. But again, playable, at least on easy. If they found that playing on hard or very hard or even normal was way too difficult and they didn't want to patch that, they could have said, we recommend everybody play on easy, or you can make a 5-minute patch to just remove all the difficulty settings and have everybody play on easy. And if you play on easy, it would be easy enough to adjust how much gold you get. Just double amount, or double or triple the amount of currency. So now we're seeing credits from Disney Interactive. Disney Interactive, I believe, is one of the many sub-departments of Disney that got shut down. So, yeah. There's nothing to really say there. The Disney attempt at making video games themselves were super flawed and failed horribly. They could have worked, but I think in a lot of ways they had the wrong person in charge. I think it was Dave Lang, actually, in particular, and I just don't think he was the right person to take that project to full success. In a weird way, Disney has failed to maintain its artist studios, and so only like the Pixar movies that they purchased Pixar for a long time were making any money, and all the other movies were floundering. Now they've more recently gotten a couple of good successes in Frozen and some of the other ones, but at a time there they were doing Brave, and because Disney has allowed their own animation studio to fall apart, there was definitely some team synergy between the animation studio and a video game development department, because the animators could probably work on both using the exact same software. But since both of those departments are just skeletons of what they were, Disney has failed at that, and more than anything else, recently Disney has started turning every animated movie that they've made from the past, like The Lion King, into just live action movies or CGI movies. So It just throws us back to this point. It doesn't show us a menu or anything. Just thanks for playing. And we are back here. And what else? We don't have any of the treasures. So at this point we should have about 2 million or more. Yet 3 million. So we're going to watch very carefully as we purchase things to see if we can unlock more things. And see, there's the visual glitch that totally should not exist. And I feel like some of these I had already unlocked and it didn't save that progress. That may not actually be true. It may just be a case of them showing the same 16 images over and over again in different formats. But yeah, we're not going to be able to spend enough at this rate to unlock everything. So we got most of the pencil renders and then background paintings. The glitch is just getting worse and worse, and it's just like the same image over and over again. So I have 81,000 left. Almost certainly, if I do have something that I could buy. Nope, I don't have anything I can buy. All these characters did show up in the game. I'm a little surprised at that, although some of these enemies, for instance, showed up only in one level. So we would just have to get more gold before we could unlock the music or the TV art 1 or 2, which is the stuff you would really want. So hard pogo is still not here. So we do have a new level. Interesting. Well, let's see what Money Bin is. Because if this is a full level, we'll see. I bet the Money Bin is just a tutorial level all over again. Let's see, is there a way to skip cinematic? Yes. Alright, so this is just a cinematic level all over again. So you would have to either play the game a second time through to unlock everything. Skip cinematic. And you're not really gonna be able to.
Mama, be so proud.
You still can't do hard pogo. Yeah, so either you'd have to play the whole game level a second time, and one assumes that you couldn't just do this first level and grind through it, and even if you could do that, I'm not sure that playing this level is particularly any better than playing any of the other levels. Like, maybe you could get 1 million? In this level, but I wouldn't be surprised if you can't. You're still getting health even when you're at full health. Alright, so let's just take a look at the map. Yeah, we're less than halfway through, and the level is an S for Scrooge McDuck. Alright. So let's ask a question. If we exit level, you probably don't get any of that gold. Yeah, we didn't get any of that gold. Or duck bucks or whatever they are. I wouldn't be surprised if you play each of these levels and then it just marks them as played once again. Alright, so let's exit the game and see what happens. So, last thing I want to check. New game, overwrite your data. Options. Hard pogo, on. Hard pogo is pressed down and X, whereas it's just pressed X or B. Guess I could have been pressing either one. Quick cinemas. And we can change 8-bit music. But what wasn't there, and this is kind of the only time you get to hear the DuckTales theme. Playtime, 3 hours and 30 minutes. Gallery is here. So that seems to be somewhat permanent, but you would have to start a new level, new game. Alright, is there anything else in the extras? Leaderboards? Well, since this game is no longer for sale, like, obviously, these numbers could have been made up. We have some people with fastest playthroughs of 31, highest money earned, massive numbers. I tend to suspect that at least the first 10 in any leaderboard have just hacked their score one way or the other, and they're cheating. At least the top 10 in most games. So new game, yes. Apparently to play very hard you have to beat it on hard. So yeah, I would have to play this game 2 more times. And you can see now I have so now when I'm hitting A and pressing X, it's not working. I have to press down. Seems like you still get the same amount of currency, and I have 3 health, which is what you would start with, but I do have ooh, seems like they're just skipping that whole part. So it does seem like you just have two lives though, and the thing to ask is how much health does it take when he hits me? The answer is 1 instead of a half health. How easy would it be to get extra health? It seems like all the collectibles are in the same place. So, yeah, if you're a person not interested in spending a lot of money and you just had purchased this, particularly in the days of the NES, when this might have been the only game you got for a year or so, I could see why a game like this would feel the need. Now you only have to press down to start jumping. If you just hold down the X button, otherwise you're fine. Try not to waste too much time here, but I would like to see if there's a way to get health. I'm not sure this level ever gave health though. It does give health still, and that's kind of necessary. It's kind of obvious that you would need that amount of health. Yeah, hard pogo is too hard. So let's immediately turn that off. Right. Yeah, I don't really see the reasoning behind wanting to play this on super difficult modes in a modern concept. Kids certainly wouldn't want to play this on hard and then play it on very hard. Adults that were nostalgic for the original game would have had to have been super into it. And there I got a 1-up, which that certainly makes it feel like an old school NES game a lot more. So there's the painting that I totally forgot about. I'm not sure I really even remembered. The problem with this... Let's see. This is a game if you're good at it, though, you can totally beat it on hard, and I'm sure you could beat it on A.
There you are, sir.
Beat it on very hard too, if you're willing to put in the effort. Although this is like 6 hits seem to be required. Alright. So let's go back here now. And one last time, let's check this. There's nothing in it. I really would have wanted this to filled up with more gold as I got more gold. And then let's check the extras. Okay. So you could play this game on hard a second time and work to purchase one more thing in that first level. Yeah. I only got about 300,000 from that. Yep. So there definitely is a concept here of wanting you to play it over and over again if you're going to get all the achievements. It is really only a 3-hour and 30-minute game, so I could see myself 6 months to a year to 2 years from now coming back to this and playing it, because I definitely did have a good time. But while this is a really good remaster of an old NES game, it still has a few problems in the fact that it's based off an NES game, having only 5 levels, having such limited amounts of collectibles, falling back onto the tropes of having lives and having difficulty settings that are really, really difficult are not things that I'd really want to spend my time on. So I imagine I would get very frustrated if I tried to beat this on hard mode, and then by the time I even started playing very hard mode, once that was unlocked, I feel like I'd at that point probably rage quit. But I certainly made it a lot further in this game than I did Shovel Knight, which was the comparison. And I cannot overstate that new game developers should not make games that look like 8-bit NES games that are just platformers. Like, even if you have really tight controls and you think you've got a really good story, it's a 1 in a million shot that you'll succeed and people will really buy your product. The graphics alone are a major stopping block for most people. Whereas if DuckTales Remastered was for sale and people just saw it quickly, it would be an easy buy. Particularly if this was like a $5 game. I probably paid way too much for this considering its length, but it has a lot more relevancy than I would argue Shovel Knight does, even though Shovel Knight was a popular hit for quite a while. And in a weird way, the developer of Shovel Knight is doing the thing that Disney should be doing, which is getting his character, Shovel Knight, into a bunch of other games. If Scrooge and all the other DuckTales characters showed up in the most recent version of Smash Brothers, that would be amazing. And it really wouldn't cost Disney anything to have that happen. If Disney licensed the DuckTales and many of their other shows to other game developers, Way Forward in particular, again, like, that should be easy to do. There's plenty of game developers out there that don't have any clue on what their next project is going to be. So small, short remasters of NES games, or reimagining remakes of NES games, or games based on Disney characters, would be very much appreciated, more than the free-to-play cell phone garbage that we often get nowadays instead. Anyways, that's going to be it for this series. I really don't think that it's worth my time to play this on screen a second time on hard, and I probably won't play it off screen on hard either. Maybe, and this is a dangerous maybe that will almost certainly never be fulfilled, but maybe if I have nothing better to play in a year or two, I might come back and play this. But probably not, because I have plenty of other games to play and it's time to move on. That's it for this series. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.